Good morning to everybody. It's 9 a.m. My name is Chris Whitten. I'm the Executive Director of the Golf Association of Michigan. Several of us from the GAM family are joining the call from Forest Acres West in East Lansing, Michigan, but we've got participants and presenters all over the state ready to greet us this morning. So I'd like to kick things off by introducing our GAM President, Mark McAlpine. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 Golf Association of Michigan Annual Meeting. We appreciate your attendance today as we take some valuable time to review the past year, introduce new governors, honor those who have passed, celebrate our champions, and transition into a new year. Our first order of business is to announce that the governors have electronically approved the minutes from our last meeting. We thank you for that vote and to that matter, and we'll record it as approved as submitted. Again, thank you for your participation in that. The next item is an effort. We want to take a moment to remember those close to the Golf Association of Michigan who have passed this year. They have all contributed to the growth and stability of GAM, and we would like to take a silent moment to remember the following individuals. Amy Graham, daughter of David Graham, a former GAM intern who has been involved with GAM for many years through her father. Amy will be remembered later this year in a fundraiser, an intern fundraiser for the foundation. And look for some information a little bit later in the program on that. Barton Kapulian, a Michigan Golf Hall of Fame member, former president of the National Golf Writers Association of America. He's been chairman of our communication committee for many years, a longtime writer for the Detroit News, as many of you may know. Barton contributed many, many years to the success of GAM. We appreciate his efforts. Bob McMasters, a former GAM president, a past chair of the Western Golf Association. Bob has been involved again with not only GAM, but the success of golf throughout the state. And we appreciate his efforts through the years. We also would like to take a silent moment to remember those who have passed, maybe friends or family from COVID this past year. It has been a long and brutal year for many, and we wish all of your families and friends the best in their efforts to remember those who have passed. So let's take just a brief minute, and we'll come back to the program. Thank you for those remembrances. Before we get to our committee reports, I am pleased to report to all that the state of the Golf Association of Michigan is strong and getting stronger. Our past year was anything but easy as the staff dealt with the onset of COVID, restrictions throughout the year, and the challenges of operating in an environment of the unknown. In a normal meeting environment, I would ask the staff to stand to a round of applause for an outstanding job done. So please take some time this year, or whenever you get a chance, to thank the staff for their efforts and keeping the ball in the fairway and bringing home a clear victory for GAM this past year. Probably the most important and impressive stat of the year is the enthusiastic explosion for golf itself. Many rediscovered a love for the game as they searched for COVID-safe activities. Golf became a family activity game as new players found their way to the first tee, and those working from home traded in drive time for a quick 9 holes. The results brought an amazing growth for the industry GAM has and will continue to benefit from this amazing development. So let's begin with our committee reports. I first want to introduce Richard Aginian, our GAM treasurer, who will present the financials for GAM.
Thank you, Mark. Chris, you want to put up the next slide? Okay, 1 year ago, we were staring into the abyss with COVID raging throughout the state. We projected a loss, knowing that our financial reserves equity would carry us through the year. As a result of Chris and his management team, we ended up the year with a surplus of $205,863, revenues of $2,242,000, and expenses of $2,036,000. GAM also received some COVID funds from the federal government. These numbers are unaudited, but are not expected to significantly change. The balance sheet, Chris? The balance sheet is strong. Our checking savings accounts are at the highest total of the year. At this time, at the end of March, this is due to more golfers registering for the 2021 tournaments, paying the registration fee, and more golfers either renewing their GAM membership or our new GAM members also paying their fee upon registration. Tournament fees are recorded as a liability until the date of the tournament. Revenue is recognized when the tournament is held. GAM membership fees are amortized over the fiscal year. Liabilities here represent the advance payments for the 2021 tournaments. Equity represents the difference between the assets and liabilities. A strong equity position allows GAM to reinvest in the game of golf and remain active during down years of golf participation. GAM's financial objective each year is to have a surplus. My motto as treasurer is no surplus, no mission, i.e. golf. I'll entertain any questions. There be no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick.
Thank you, Dick. I would like to note to the group that Dick is finishing his task as treasurer this year. And we want to thank him for multiple years of his stewardship of our financials. I'm pleased to report that Dick will be serving on the officer team this next year. So his service is not done. And Dick, we thank you from the bottom of our heart for all your hard work. Our next report, please let me introduce Sarah Wold, a past president of GAM and our current chair of the nomination committee.
Good morning. Many of you may recognize the 6th hole at the U of M course. Looks fairly benign from the back of the green, but fearsome from the tee, as many of you may know. I want to thank the nominating committee and all of you who made nominations. The following members and officers have accepted their positions. The new officers, President Mark Baltimore of Quail Ridge Golf Course. First Vice President, Tom Anderson, Polo Fields Golf and Country Club. The second Vice President is Jay Holtz from Plum Hollow Country Club. And the third Vice President is Judy Lazaro of Oakland University Country Club and Learning Center. As Mark mentioned, Dick Aginian is moving from treasurer to secretary, and he's from Oakland Hills Country Club. Our new treasurer is Tom Roll from the GAM Golf Course Rating Club. And our president emeritus is Mark McAlpine from Elk Rapids Golf Course. Please congratulate 3 new honorary governors. They are Gary Adelman from Watermark Country Club, And he's been a governor since 1996. And he started out as a club rep and has been very active ever since. Pat Demir from the Michigan Women's Golf Association has been a governor since 2004 and has been a course rater and has done many, many rates. Jean Murray from Mount Pleasant Country Club was a governor in 2003. She's been our senior women's champion, and she's a strong advocate of women's golf. Please welcome 5 new governors: Leroy Bray Senior, Carl's Golfland of Plymouth, Mike Church from Fieldstone Golf Course. Both of those gentlemen are rules officials. Joan Garrity from Egypt Valley Country Club. She's been a multiple GAM champion, and she's a course rater. We have Dr. Doug Hoey from Wescowan Players Club, who's very active on the west side. And Francine Pegues from the Michigan Women's Golf Association. And Francine is a board member of the GAM Foundation. So please welcome all our governors and officers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Sarah. We do appreciate that. And to the officer team, thank you for your service to GAM. And to the honorary and new governors, welcome. We appreciate and value all of your time and your service. Thank you so much. We look forward to your contributions this next year. Next on the agenda, please let me introduce John Schulte, the president of the GAM Foundation, for his annual report.
Good morning, friends of Michigan Golf. This is about 3 dates to celebrate from the past and 3 dates to look forward to. Next Friday, May 7th, is the 102nd anniversary of the founding of the organization now known as the Golf Association of Michigan. Second, 93 years later, efforts began towards setting up a tax-exempt entity that would allow the use of donated funds to help the GAM carry out its mission to grow, preserve, and serve golf in Michigan. In late 2015, the Golf Association of Michigan Foundation Incorporated was approved. Donors could receive a tax break and golf would benefit. The third date from the past, 1 year ago. 1 year ago, Michigan golfers were finally allowed to play again after the game had been put on hold because of the COVID pandemic. Increasing golf participation for the young and making it affordable for those less fortunate was always a part of foundation discussions. Ways to make something like that work became much clearer when the GAM Foundation joined in the Youth on Course concept initiated by the Northern California Golf Association. The plan was simple. Boys and girls, ages 6 to 18, would pay a small membership fee, allowing them to play golf and never pay more than $5 per round. The foundation would contract with Michigan golf courses and subsidize the cost difference between the $5 paid by the junior golfer and the course's junior rate. Next slide, please. Within a couple of years, Youth on Course really began to grow. In 2019, 4,261 Michigan boys and girls played over 8,300 rounds that were subsidized by the foundation. The Youth on Course membership also made available a discount for golf ball buckets at the Royal Oak Golf Center. Golf courses love the program because they also want to grow golf. The courses set the time Youth on Course members can play, and quite often the junior golfer brings a full paying adult with them. The courses also love the subsidy check that is sent to them each month. There was considerable optimism going into last year. Then came the pandemic. Golf was being played, then it was shut down, no one knew what this could mean for the 2020 golf season. Finally, about this time last year, we were underway. Still, the pandemic impact on signing up members for Youth on Course and how many rounds of golf they would play was completely uncertain. The boys and girls that became Youth on Course members for 2020 had a big surprise for everyone. They welcomed the chance to be outside and playing golf at a price they could afford. 7,097 joined as members, and they played 27,229 rounds of golf. They discovered a great program and took advantage of it. These Youth on Course members are not limited to Michigan for golf. Outside of the state, they can play at 1,400 courses nationwide by showing their membership card. The cost is never more than $5 per round. The foundation paid out $224,374 in golf course subsidies last year, with much of the source of these funds coming from individual contributors. The donor base of unique contributors grew to over 2,500 individuals, with 1,000 new donors joining us last year alone. Quite an achievement. To supplement donor contributions, 3 fundraisers are planned for 2021. Each will be a day full of fun for all. The 3rd annual Michigan 100-hole hike will take place this fall. This rewarding challenge tests individual energy while benefiting the foundation through pledged amounts from friends and relatives. Completion of this endurance test is quite a feat, whether it's on an 18-hole course or on shorter loops of 6 or 9 holes to complete the 100 holes. More information will be coming on this and will be available in the coming months. Second, on Monday, August 9, incoming GAM President Mark Bultema will welcome golfers for a morning shotgun start at Indian Trails Golf Course in Grand Rapids for the inaugural Youth on Course Celebration Day Golf Tournament. This is also an endurance test, though using a golf cart. It should appeal to those that prefer not to test their legs for one reason or another. In the afternoon, adult golfers will team with Youth on Course members for a team competition. Lots of food and prizes are planned, and this should be a great day. The 3rd event is the Youth on Course Internship Outing. It is in memory of the late Amy Graham, a 2-year summer intern for the GAM and daughter of GAM Executive Director Emeritus David Graham. Proceeds will be used to annually fund a summer intern for the GAM Foundation. This special day will be Thursday, September 23rd at Indianwood Golf and Country Club in Lake Orion. Another great day for fun, golf, and prizes. That is a recap of the Foundation's planned 2021 fundraising events. You should be able to see information coming forward on the GAM website, or for really good information, contact Dennis Purdy, the Foundation's Director of Donor Engagement. The Youth on Course program is unique, and that is immediately provides positive aid for boys and girls by getting them onto a course and playing this great game for a very nominal cost. Please consider helping by participating in a fundraiser or by making a donation. Either is a great way to give back to the game you love. Thank you all.
Thank you, John. We do appreciate your efforts this past year and with an amazing performance of the Foundation and Youth on Course. Thank you so much. Our next report will be presented by Chris Whitten, the GAM Executive Director. I don't know that I need to present too much information about Chris other than the fact that he has led us this past year to a level through the COVID crisis that we did not expect. His staff has performed outstanding achievements throughout the year. The tournaments were run great, and we could not be happier to present to you, our Executive Director, Chris Whitten. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark, and very happy to be with everybody this morning. We're all looking forward to the time when we can have these annual meetings in person and gather again. But in the meantime, we're happy to review a successful year and look forward. And John Schulte, thanks for your comments. I should be ready for the 100-hole hike again by the time it rolls around. My feet are almost recovered from last year. All right, looking back on the 2020 season, it's already been mentioned this morning, but along with golf administrators, club pros, golf course owners all over the state, the golf industry really had a positive response to COVID last year. And we were able to create a situation where golf was a silver lining for a lot of people. It's been well documented that many people came to the game, but on the GAM side specifically, our goal as an organization, staff, and volunteers was to set a positive example for our tournament players, course raters, volunteers, as to how we could go out and make golf the safest sport possible. And so new protocols were put in place. We reduced our field sizes, specifically early in the season, to keep the warm-up tee and the putting green as free as possible, with giving people room to move. We eliminated shotgun starts. We dealt with our tournament players specifically about their cart preferences. We wanted to know if they had a strong desire to ride by themselves or if they were comfortable to ride with another with a mask. We turned to mobile scoring as opposed to paper scorecards. And even now, as we continue on in the age of COVID, we're participating in the program from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, testing junior golfers between the ages of 13 to 19 to make sure that they're COVID-free when they come to tee it up with us. Of course, for our staff, we worked remotely, and I can't thank all of them enough for the creativity and the flexibility, adaptability that they showed to continue helping our members, even when we couldn't be in the office. And specifically, our folks out in the field, our tournament team really made the difference this year. That was led by Ken Hartman and his staff of Ted Newton, Alex Clark, Kyle Wolf, and our friend Dan Cooner, who's pictured here heading up the GAM Golf Days. Now, along with a successful season, it allowed GAM to continue making a difference and making critically important donations to other organizations who help the sport and the game. I want to thank all of our clubs and our bidders who participated in the GAM online auction this year. We raised almost $13,000 to be split between our friends at the Michigan Turfgrass Foundation and the Evans Scholar Foundation. We'll hear from Kerry Mitchelson and the MTF a little bit later, and we'll recognize a few award winners at U of M and MSU through the Evans Scholar Program. 2020 was the introductory year for the World Handicap System. Even though COVID hampered our ability to go out and provide education in person at clubs, we felt that our club administrators and our golfers themselves really took to the key concepts of the World Handicap System well, and it showed. In 2020, in the first year of the WHS, rounds posted were up 50% in Michigan alone. Just an unbelievable amount of golf played and number of golfers tracking their stats and handicap indexes. Kyle Wolf and Cynthia Pinkard from the GAM staff really headed up this effort to introduce the World Handicap System. Can't thank them enough. For all of our club administrators and owners listening in today, I'm sure you're all familiar with Kyle, and you know, he's happy and ready to answer your questions with his staff. Of course, none of this would be possible without our course rating volunteers. We wouldn't be able to post our scores if the courses weren't rated appropriately and timely. Mark Baltima, Lori Puskas, their whole team of course rating volunteers, we can't thank them enough for getting in their full schedule of 52 rates and measures, even though our window was shortened. One highlight rate last year came at American Dunes, which just had their opening day. You might have seen it in the news recently. And we were honored to be there to rate that special golf course and even make a donation from our team of course raters who were there in person that day. This slide comes to us from our friends at the National Golf Foundation, and it really, in my opinion, highlights the gain in rounds played by percentage, showing the highest increase in the last 20 years. In my opinion, the best sign for the future is our net gain of 500,000 golfers coming to the game, playing either on course or off course. We also saw the largest ever gain of the number of junior players and the number of women players, both categories up 25%, and our category of diverse golfers also increased 6%. The trend is continuing for sure into 2021, and I think we're all ready for it. This leads us to our GAM operating plan and our goals for the year. This shows increased revenue as our tournaments return to regular size fields, a gain of nearly 800 members, and we're really off to a great start. Just comparing some early season year-over-year results, our number of renewals is almost doubled this year compared to 2020. Our number of new members coming to the GAM for the first time ever, just as of April 15th, is up 3 times the amount of 2020. And overall, our number of tournament players are blowing 2020 away, but we're even double 2019 in tournament signups. So the Michigan Amateur Championship, one of our flagship events, and even GAM Golf Days, open to any and every GAM member, regardless of your handicap. Those events are nearly sold out at this point in time. So if you'd like to come play with us, please sign up soon. There are a number of planning topics important for us as a GAM staff as we head into the upcoming year. Number one is club certification. Our number of handicap clubs continues to grow. This year will show even more growth than it probably ever has. And these member clubs are really the groups that help us build and reach our large community of golfers in the nation's best golf state. So we lean on you, our club administrators, owners, club professionals, to tell your golfers about the benefits and value of the GAM. There are more and more improvements coming with the GIN app, where we all post our scores most frequently. And it's important to know that within our various handicapping clubs, there are going to be various checkpoints continuing this year. All our club administrators pass a World Handicap System quiz, and we maintain a minimum number of individual golfing members on a quarterly basis. You'll notice that for golfers and club admins alike, there was a security enhancement to the GIN mobile app and all GIN platforms this year. Individual members were prompted to create a digital profile with an active email address. We're really keeping up with modern day security enhancements online. But one benefit that comes to the GAM from this is our ability to communicate with our members more clearly. At one point in time, there was not an email address required for every GIN account, but now those are all coming on board, and our large golfing community is going to hear from us about the benefits of the membership and other topics important to all Michigan golfers. You may have heard from us recently through the mail with our 2021 Michigan Links magazine. We were especially proud of this issue, and I can't thank our team of Mary Jo Green, Terry Moore, and Greg Johnson enough for helping to guide us through the creation of this issue. We think it really tells the story and introduces GAM in a beautiful way. We recognize our partners, and we hope that you all keep this for the whole season. We see it not so much as just a one-time periodical, but something you might keep and use as a resource for the whole golfing season. As I near the end of my comments, I do want to say that as we continue to tell the story of Michigan golf, we think really the best way to review the history is to turn to our friends at the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame and recognize those who are pillars in the history of the game here in Michigan. 2021 class was put on hold until we can appropriately recognize the 2020 class, including David Graham, Julie Massa, Roy Schulteis, and Dick Stewart. That date is coming together quickly, and the induction ceremony, we're confident, will be held at at Ferris State this fall, and more information is to come. So with that, Mark, I'll conclude my comments and turn it back over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you and the staff for all of your efforts this year. An amazing year with outstanding performance. Thank you so much. when we first put this meeting together, one of the things that we wanted to do was make it a celebration about golf. And we thought what better way to do that than to bring as our guest speakers this year a list of those that represent the game so well in the state of Michigan. And through this list, as you can see on the board, we'll have presentations from each of them. And in each case, I will introduce them and go down the list. So I'll give you a brief profile now before we go to the individual segment. Jada Paisley, Executive Director of the Michigan Golf Course Association, is our first speaker, and I'll turn it over to her, and then we'll step by step go through our guest speakers. Jada was instrumental in the creation of the Michigan Golf Alliance that served us so well this year. Many of our guest speakers are members of that alliance. It was important to have them involved with communications with the governor's office, with the other departments in the state, and certainly with the game and players that love golf so well in this wonderful Gulf state of Michigan. So Jada, I'm pleased to introduce you to our audience, and thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Chris, and the rest of the GAM family for having me this morning. I'm so pleased, and I echo everybody's sentiments. I can't wait to be doing this in person. But until then, a little bit about Michigan Golf Course Association. We changed our name in 2018 from Michigan Golf Course Owners Association to Michigan Golf Course Association because the course is really who we serve, and the team members that are employed at that course are who we serve, and we represent owners and operators throughout this great state. And as the voice of Michigan golf business, our mission for our members is promotion, education, and advocacy. And advocacy is really at the core of what we do. You know, as we know, golf is a wonderful game that has so many wonderful mental and physical benefits. The business of golf is really what we found ourselves as the Michigan Golf Alliance educating our legislators on last year. And part of that could not be possible without us forming all of the, thank you, Chris, for that, for all of my esteemed colleagues on there, the Greater Michigan Club Management Association of America, the Golf Association of Michigan, Michigan Chapter of Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Michigan Section Pga, and a special nod to the Turfgrass Foundation, who does the wonderful research that we have. And, you know, although we gained a lot of attention as the Golf Alliance last year, the Michigan Golf Alliance was formed in 2008. And we started doing our legislative day on the lawn in 2012. And really the reason that we were all able to move golf forward last year is because of those 10 years of being on the lawn, educating our legislators, educating policymakers on the $4.2 billion of the economic impact of Michigan from the golf industry, the 60,000 people that are employed by Michigan golf courses, the wages that come back to the state to the tune of $1.4 billion, and the acres of professionally managed green space with the forest and wetlands and wildlife habitats that we all know. That's what brings us to the game, is when we're out there. The beauty. And so segueing into a little bit of last year, and I will just say I couldn't be more proud to have served with my fellow executive directors. We all had a lot of long days on the phone trying to figure out and strategize our next steps. And, you know, the reason that I wanted Chris to have the slide on here is not to just pat ourselves on the back again, but from the National Golf Course Owners Association, we were recognized as a champion award. And the champion award is bestowed upon individuals or entities that have garnered significant victory for their state. And, you know, that, I mean, just let that sink in. We were recognized nationally. And moving forward, we are going to continue to tell that story of golf. You know, as Mark mentioned, we really worked hard to maintain and continue that relationship within the office and executive office of the governor. And in the most recent press statement that came out from the governor's office last week in regards to the new vaccine rollout, you know, golf was mentioned in that. Dow mentioned the LPGA tournament and how much economic impact that brings to the area. And I reached out to thank our contact there, and she said, I could not forget golf. You know, we made an impact and we need to continue making an impact. And so that being said, when we were able to have events, I reached out to the Golf Alliance and I said, you know what, we need to continue telling our story. And we've talked about this as the last year, like, how do we continue telling that next part of our story? And who's behind the $4.2 billion? Who's behind the 60,000 jobs that are employed? What does that look like? What does the charitable impact of golf truly look like? And so on June 3rd, 1 month from today, we're going to be having a very socially distanced presentation. This is from 2019, and it's going to look different. It's going to look different for 2021, but you know, we all know that we're up to the task because we did it last year through all of you, all of the interconnectedness that we all have, from, you know, the course down to all of the wonderful volunteers that GAM has. And so our program this year is going to be taking it to that next level of the economic, environmental, and the human impact of golf. And we're going to be having speakers that represent that, and, you know, to create that story of what we all know that we do every day within the business, and the environmental parts of it, and the program development for all generations, the business of golf and what that means and why they need to pay attention when they're making decisions, they being the legislators, when they make decisions on behalf of a seasonal business. We want to make sure that we're making that connection. And we garnered the attention this year, and so we're going to continue telling that story. And so watch for more information coming out about that today, actually. And I hope to see you on June 3rd. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me. Does anybody have any questions? Or was that too? Okay. All right.
All good from our side, Jada. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jada, for that presentation. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your leadership on behalf of the entire golf community in Michigan. Next up is I consider a good friend, Kevin Helm, Executive Director of the Michigan section of the PGA. Kevin is celebrating, I believe, 25 years this year with the Michigan section. And over the past almost 17 years, he's been in the role of the Executive Director. So we're very pleased to introduce Kevin Helm from the Michigan PGA.
Thank you very much, Mark. And first of all, let me apologize. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm in a casual setting here. We have a big pro event over at Gull Lake View Resort. So I'm in my rain gear, and I'm dry in the clubhouse, but the players aren't real happy. They're out playing in the rain right now. But I'm very excited to have the opportunity. Thank you to Chris and the GAM leadership for inviting not only myself, but all the Allied Association executive directors to present today and talk with your group. Some of you may know this. I had the good fortune of working for the Golf Association of Michigan many years ago. Actually, I think it was 1994 and 1995. I was the director of rules and competitions, and I enjoyed that experience greatly. And I've always had a great amount of respect for the association and the work that it does promoting the game of golf and serving the golfers in the state of Michigan. I know recently you've gone through a transition, a challenge of replacing a longtime leader in David Graham. Obviously, David and I have a terrific relationship, and I look forward to always enjoyed working with David. That had big shoes to fill when that opportunity presented itself, and I couldn't be more happy with working with Chris now. I think you've made a terrific selection, and he's been doing a great job. I know he's going to do a great job for the GAM for years to come, and we have a great working relationship, and always enjoy talking with Chris. I'm going to make some just general comments, kind of following up on some of Jada's comments. The work of the Michigan Golf Alliance throughout the pandemic was terrific. I really enjoyed the opportunity to work with my peers at our allied associations. You know, there wasn't really a roadmap for how we should proceed through last year, right? It was kind of uncharted water for us. But all of my peers showed great leadership and dedication. They worked through and tried to serve the golf community in Michigan the best we could. I know it's terrific that the National Golf Course Owners Association has recognized the Michigan Golf Alliance for their work in serving the golf industry. But I think if you ask any of the leaders from the allied associations, I think we just did what felt right and was natural, and we just kind of rolled up the sleeves and got together to say, how can we kind of help navigate through this? And it was quite a process, a lot of late night Zoom meetings with everybody, but I think we did the best we could to serve the golf community. And I think it shows how fortunate we are in Michigan to have such a strong alliance and a sense of cooperation among the leading golf organizations. I found out, you kind of learn, maybe it's unfortunate, but that may not be the norm when you look around at some of the other states. Hopefully they can kind of learn from what we've done here in Michigan. And I think maybe we're a good model for other states to kind of follow and try to get a good working relationship among all the allied associations. If you give me have a little patience here, I want to brag for just a little bit about some of our Michigan PGA professionals that had a pretty exciting week last week. Many of you may not know this, but the PGA of America runs what's called the Pga Professional Championship. It's like the biggest championship for club professionals in the country, and 312 professionals qualified at their various section championships to go to Port St. Lucie and play their championship at PGA Golf Club. And not only is that the major championship for club professionals, but it also serves as a way to qualify 20 players to play in the PGA Championship, which will be held later this month, May 20 through 23rd at the Ocean Course at Kiowa Island in South Carolina. We had 2 section members qualify and finish in that top 20 and earn a berth in the PGA Championship. Ben Cook from Yankee Springs Golf Course finished 3rd place, and Tim Pierce from Birmingham Country Club tied for 8th to earn punch their ticket to go play against the greatest players in the world at Kiowa. So we're very excited for them, and we wish them certainly the best of luck, but also they're going to have a great experience in that championship. I want to recognize Cody Houghton from Red Run. Cody's an assistant there, played great also in the championship, but ended up losing on a playoff to earn the last spot in the PGA Championship. So we had 3 players play really well and represent Michigan in a great fashion. And I just can't wait to later this month to get to watch them play on golf's biggest stage. Some general insight from maybe a PGA professional standpoint, operating through the pandemic last year. Obviously golf was, once we were given the green light to play in whatever form that may have been in, facilities were extremely busy. Constantly challenged with trying to implement strategies to keep it the most safe environment possible for people to enjoy this great game. And boy, people came out and played. You heard some of the numbers that Chris mentioned earlier, and it was great for courses, but it was also a challenge to try to accommodate that kind of play and work through all the restrictions. I know I talked to some professionals, and it's not just the golf operation, but staffing was a huge issue and continues to be. The environment that we're operating in now, it's all areas of the golf course, and not just the golf shop, but it's the maintenance staff, it's the food and beverage and the restaurants, you name it. Staff has been and will continue to be a challenge for facilities. So I guess let's ask our golfers to be a little bit patient with these facilities. They're doing the best they can to operate in a pretty difficult environment. Along with staffing, you know, even getting products, whether it be clubs, golf balls, apparel, even golf cars. It's a challenge right now. The supply chain's been disrupted and continues to be disrupted. So again, it's affecting our facilities in a lot of different ways. On the positive side, play and rounds have been up and through the roof for the most part, and people are happy and enjoying themselves, and just great to be able to get outdoors and enjoy golf. And this may seem a little bit trivial, but I found it interesting. I heard from a lot of our professionals, they say the general mood of the customer is they're happy. They're maybe a little less critical of some things, whether it be pace of play or conditions or whatever it is. I think it's just the tone that said that people are happy that they're able to get out and enjoy golf, and they just seem to be a happy bunch out there. So let's hope that continues. One concern I have, and I'd like to pass this along, is the toll that the situation, and by that I mean extremely busy, a lot of long hours with limited staff, the toll that's going to take on the employees, not just PGA professionals, but all the employees at our golf facilities. It was a challenging year they went through. It continues to be. And I hope that, you know, if we can find staff, I hope that maybe facilities are in a position they can add some staff to kind of help accommodate the increase in play, or certainly take care of and try to work out a little work-life balance for those that are working and working those long hours to make sure that everybody that comes out to the facilities are taken care of and have a great time. I think it's just important that we take care of those that are working in the industry, and I know that everybody on this Zoom call knows that, and will do whatever they can to make sure that happens. But that's really all I wanted to mention, a little bit from the operations side, what I hear from talking to our professionals, and we're excited for the year ahead. That really concludes all I had, other than I want to thank you again for the opportunity to address your group. I wish everybody success this year and a great season throughout 2021. So I will also entertain any questions, probably through the chat feature there, but thank you again for the opportunity to address the group.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin, thank you. We appreciate your involvement today and the dedication for you, as well as all of the PGA professionals to the game. We know the hours are long, and the work is not always easy. And I hope they get through with a little bit of sunshine today for their first outing. Thank you so much for your participation today. Our next presenter is Tammy Carter. Tammy is the Managing Director of the Greater Michigan Chapter of the Club Managers Association of America. Excuse me, Executive Director. Tammy's been in that position for 8 years, and we are absolutely delighted to have her involvement today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, Mark. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my internet. I keep getting kicked off, so hopefully I will try to talk quickly. Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to present today at the GAM Annual Meeting on behalf of the Greater Michigan Chapter of the Club Management Association of America. 2020 was a year of many challenges for the club managers. During the shutdown, everyone closed their doors and stayed home. Most furloughed their employees and braced for drastic budget losses. As restrictions allowed outdoor recreation, each club struggled to offer golf to their members, seeking clarity on the ever-changing executive orders. The Greater Michigan Chapter members are very grateful for the hard work and perseverance that the Michigan Golf Alliance exhibited during that time of great uncertainty. They were able to maintain communications with the governor's office, present the way golf can be played safely, and slowly the courses were permitted to open throughout our state. Many experienced record-breaking seasons, and for that, we are grateful. As food for takeout was allowed after many months, so many clubs had to get very creative with their menus, offer groceries, and even delivery services for their members. This gave club members a sense of safety and security to know that their clubs are there for them. Being transparent with their members was also a big plus. As the year 2021 rolled around, the struggles continued, with restaurants only at 50% capacity and indoor gathering numbers are very low. The major source of income for so many clubs is parties and events. Drive-through Santa visits, outdoor Easter Bunny brunches, and workout sessions via Zoom are just a few of the ways clubs are staying in front of their members. The struggle to find, as Kevin mentioned, the struggle to find and hire staff is not only throughout the club business, but all over the country. The availability of financial help for clubs is slim, but attainable. We have high hopes of eventually recovering from this pandemic, but it will take time. The new summer is now upon us, and we are looking forward to another great summer of golf in this beautiful state of ours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy. We appreciate your being with us today, and thank you for your involvement with the game of golf this past year. Our next presenter is Mark Wilson. Mark has been on the staff at Ferris State University for almost 9 years, and most recently, for the past 2 years, as program director for the Pga Golf Management program. Mark, thank you for being here, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mark, and to you and the other GAM officers and governors and everyone on the call. I really appreciate the opportunity to just briefly talk about our state of the industry this morning as well. The Ferris State PGA Golf Management Program was the first of its kind, started in 1975, and some of you are familiar with that. Although many people wonder, how did a program like this end up in mid-northwest Michigan, which has pretty cold winters? And for some of you who've been around the game for a long time, our story is kind of an interesting one from a historic standpoint, kind of a convergence of three individuals at the right place at the right time. In the early 1970s, the president of the university was Dr. Robert Aweglaben, and Dr. Aweglaben had gone to Michigan State with Don Pernay, and many of you remember Don Pernay as one of the very first PGA Master Professionals and a longtime PGA professional at Inverness Club in Toledo. And Don was very active in PGA education and various other education activities with the PGA of America. At the same time, Dr. Gary Wyron, noted instructor, outstanding instructor and player, was the director of education for the PGA of America. And so the three of them started to discuss what was really the sort of perfect educational fit for Ferris State as a career-oriented program. And that's how this program came to be in 1975. Many of you, again, are familiar with the program, but just briefly, the way the program functions, our students receive a degree from the College of Business, a BS that academically would be most similar to earning a degree in business administration. This is a 4.5-year program that, in addition to the academics, involves 3 levels of PGA education and also 16 months of internship. And when our students complete the program successfully, they're elected to PGA membership. And so we have PGA members who come out of our program in their early 20s. Kind of an interesting side note, the 3 fine players from the Michigan section that Kevin mentioned in his report, Ben Cook, Tim Pierce, who are playing in the championship, and Cody Houghton, who missed out in the playoff, are all recent Ferris State graduates. But what I wanted to address this morning is something that Kevin and Tammy have discussed, but perhaps on a little longer term basis. And again, that's the current sort of numbers situation in the industry. This chart that you can see is a 7-year decline in enrollment in the PGA Golf Management University programs throughout the country. There are a total of 18 programs. And you can see that during this 8-year period, enrollment at all of the university programs has declined from about 2,600 to the mid 1,400s. And the situation is similar at Ferris State. 10 years ago, we had a freshman class of 77 students. This past fall, we had 26 students. And so this is really an industry-wide trend. And what I really would like to present this morning to all of us on the call, because we're all interested in the game, is that I think we can all help to identify future professionals, whether they be superintendents, golf professionals, or club managers. And perhaps it's that young person, that high school student that plays at your club or course, or maybe they work on the outside services staff, or maybe they work in the dining room or the halfway house. And for those of us who are interested in the future of the game, maybe we could help to guide them to a future in this fantastic game and in the industry itself. And certainly I would be happy to field any questions from any prospective students who are interested in PGA golf management, or for that matter, club management. I teach the private club management class at Ferris State for the hospitality program. And so please feel free to reach out and contact me. Our website at ferris.edu is easy to access. My email address is even easier to access because it's just my name at ferris.edu, Mark Wilson at ferris.edu. But I'm hopeful that in the near future, we can identify young people who are interested in careers in this fantastic industry, and we can bring these numbers up. And I know our colleagues from Michigan State Turf, they're going to present shortly. And they can discuss their situation as well. But again, thank you everyone for the time this morning. I really appreciate it, and I'm always happy to answer questions.
Mark, thank you so much. We appreciate your being here today and your involvement in the game. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Our next presenter is Adam Ikemus. Adam is the Executive Director of the Golf Course Superintendents Association. He's been in that role for a little over 10 years now, and we're absolutely delighted that he could join us today. Adam, thank you for being here, and I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for a great year as president leading the GAM. A couple other thank yous to echo some of my other fellow executive directors with the Michigan Golf Alliance. I'm glad to be on a Zoom call this year, not going over the legalities of bunker raking. That's a nice switch from last year, which was one of the hot topics at one point during our year-long month of talking about COVID things. I really want to also thank Chris Witten. I mean, you picked a doozy of a first year, but Chris led us all with grace and input, and really got up to speed quick because there was really no other option. So thank you, Chris, for all you did for us last fall. Last spring, I'm sorry. A little bit about the Michigan Golf Course Superintendents Association to kind of kick this off. We are the largest single state chapter in the country. The Carolinas is a little bit bigger, but they have both North and South Carolina together with about 750 members. Around half of those are Class A and B golf course superintendents. We also have obviously vendors and assistants, equipment managers, pretty much anybody in the industry, from students all the way up to certified golf course superintendents. At our annual meeting this year, we elected Doug Ware as the president for 2021. Doug is a golf course superintendent with the city of Livonia, our first municipal golf course president. He's been doing a great job. Also in 2020, John Fulling, who was the first president of the MIGCSA when we merged in 2008 from Kalamazoo Country Club, was president of the National Association. So he had also a heck of a year being president of that. Not being able to travel and represent our industry globally was a challenge, but John took it in stride. I also want to express our support for the GAM in all things, but especially the GAM Foundation and Youth on Course. We think it's a very important part of our industry for the future of our industry. So we're happy to support that every chance we can. a few things. In 2008, we did have 4 chapters. We had Northern, Western, Mid, and Greater Detroit. We merged those into one. It was quite a long process, but since then, we have donated over $230,000 to the Michigan Turfgrass Foundation through our fundraisers every year. We've given out more than $83,000 to students and member dependents in our scholarship program. We're closing in on $10,000 in donations to the Environmental Institute for Golf, which is the national GCSA philanthropy arm that helps fund research all over the country and world. We've given close to just over $5,000 to MSU Turf Club for those students to be able to travel to the golf industry show and represent MSU and our industry. And almost $20,000 to the We Won Foundation, which is a really great foundation that helps offset overwhelming medical costs for members in the golf course industry. So they've been really saved some lives and really been able to help a lot of our members. So as far as the outlook for golf course superintendents this year, what I hear a lot from my members is very similar to what Kevin touched on and what Mark touched on, and Jada and Tammy as well, is the lack of staff. It's been really challenging. It's been that way for a few years. It's much worse now than it ever has been before. And the lack of resources. I've heard from a few different fertilizer distributors that they literally don't have bags to put the fertilizer in right now, and then to get it to the golf courses. So a lot of my reps are saying, if you don't have your fertilizer order in 2 weeks ago for June, you're probably not going to get it. So there's all sorts of areas in that supply chain that are going to be an issue, whether it's fertilizer or fungicides or products, equipment. I mean, I've heard from people that can't even get a GMC pickup truck delivered right now, much less a fairway mower. So even though the economy is good for golf right now, and there's finally money to spend on a lot of things that had been put on the back burner, it's now hard to get those products to our members. So with that combination with the massive amounts of play, which is great, but that is going to take a toll on the golf courses. So both condition wise, not having the staff, not having the equipment, not having the supplies, along with, a doubling in play, that's definitely going to come out in conditions, no matter how well you're budgeted, no matter how good your superintendent is. A double in play with a lack of resources is going to show itself. So again, like Kevin said, be considerate of that. Really, for the golfers out there, when you're playing, think about how hard it is to get just items for your own home, and imagine that in the golf course setting. Again, also with Mark, and I'm sure that Kevin and the MSU folks will talk a little bit more on this, but the lack of educated superintendents and assistants, the enrollments in turf schools dipped really low in the late 2000s, and that's starting to kind of catch up to the industry. And both as superintendents, a lot of the baby boomer generation are starting to retire. There's not a massive amount of college educated superintendents to backfill those spots. They're just not out there. And I've had a lot of conversations, and I think it's really going to hit more in the public sector. It's going to be really challenging to find educated superintendents in the future, and to be able to come up with the resources to be able to afford them and to budget for them properly. So what I would encourage and hope is that a lot of golf facilities this year, as the revenue has increased, that a lot of that is earmarked for golf course infrastructure. There's a lot of really old irrigation systems out there, drainage, equipment, just overall efficiency, because your superintendents are not going to have the resources they normally have. Even if you give them a bigger budget, they just don't have the staff to hire or to be able to get the equipment. So I would hope to use this time to kind of invest in the future of your golf course and your superintendent. That's pretty much it for our side of the business. I would certainly open it up for any questions, if you have any. If not, thank you very much for this opportunity, Chris and the GAM. We really appreciate the partnership.
Thanks so much, Adam.
Adam, thank you for that. The last thing I probably would have thought of was bags for fertilizer being
you and me both
in the supply chain. So yeah. That's a new one and kind of scary, quite honestly. So I hope that's taken care of fairly quickly in this season. So thank you for being here. We appreciate your dedication to the game. Our next presenter comes to us from actually 2 different locations. The first is as Executive Director of Michigan Turfgrass Foundation. He's also Director of Operations at College Fields in Ikemus, a longtime friend of GAM and golf in Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present to you Kerry Mitchell from the Michigan Turfgrass Foundation.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to echo everybody's thoughts on the Golf Alliance. I know that we're here as a group to say what we do, but for those that don't know, 8 years ago when that was formed, most people that you're seeing today were in that initial stage, and those meetings kept on going for the last 8 years, and it did lay the groundwork for what we'll be able to accomplish this year. So I want to thank those. I want to thank the GAM for acknowledging all these people. They've worked their hardest to get golf going in Michigan, and it's a great deal of recognition is deserved by Jada. So thank you, Jada. For background on Michigan Turfgrass Foundation, we have 6 professors at Michigan State University. The goal of the Michigan Turfgrass Foundation is to provide funding for the professors and the turf program as a whole. The turf team has 3 areas of expertise that they have to get into. They have the education, the research, and extension. They all serve as part of that part. Education is an MSU turf program. I think Kevin will be speaking about that a little bit. They teach our future superintendents. We help with funding those professors at Michigan State to provide them the facilities and allow them to do research with those. We do have research at the Hancock Center. The Hancock Center was named for one of your past GAM members from Jackson, Country Club of Jackson. So there's a big tie to the GAM, and it's one of the best facilities in the world for turf research. So from our part, the GAM and the Turfgrass Foundation have really had a long history. And extension. Kevin can speak highly of that. He's doing extension as best he can. There's limits right now with MSU, but what they do with extension is they visit your golf courses. They perform duties that are asked of them by clubs and try to get to the heart of anything that might be going wrong with the golf course. Our duty is to support the MSU turf team. And what they do, they go out and they do research. They lend the golf game something that some people don't understand sometimes. There's a great deal of improvements been going on in golf for the last 4 decades. If you look at golf courses, where they were before and where they play now, it's amazing. And a great deal of that success is due to the MSU turf team and all the research that's been done over the years. We protect probably the most valuable part of the golf course, and that is, the golf clubs, and that is the golf course itself. Going back to Adam's comment on raking bunkers, and I know many of you might be thinking that's silly, but that is the case. There was a time when the turf team was able to get involved with the virtual meetings going on, and thanks to the turf team, they were able to find how much essential workers were to maintain golf course and how important it was to have them out there to keep those golf courses open and running until we could finally get players on the golf course. Financially, over the years, golf clubs, and particularly GAM golf clubs, once our strongest supporters of golf, of the research team at Michigan State. Since the 90s, that's dwindled. We have now 9 clubs last year participated in funding the MSU turf team and the MSU turf program. These are nice donations each of these clubs do, but there's a time there are 30 or 40 clubs that would do the same. Our goal in the upcoming year, and it was last year we were going to start it, I was going to have a mission of having 20 for 2020. I want 20 clubs to join and participate in the year 2020. Unfortunately, we didn't have our annual meeting last year, so now our goal is to have 21 clubs to help support the Michigan Turfgrass Foundation and help us support the MSU turf team. It's going to be very easy to do. You can do it online, you can do invoicing, you can call us, and you will be receiving a letter from us. It's going to be a compilation of the MSU school, Michigan Turfgrass Foundation, and the GAM. We're joining our efforts. We'll be sending out a letter to everybody, giving an explanation of how you can help us and what we do as a foundation. You can contact us at our email address there, at our website. On our website, it's very easy. As a club, you can click on there and we have icons on there that point out various levels. And every club is important, but they start at $250 up to $5,000, or you can make your own listing of $1 that you'd like to donate to the foundation. You'll find it listed under MTF GAM Member Club Research Support. It'll be on our homepage on our website. One thing you have to remember, and talking about the education, above everything else, golf courses need superintendents. There's no doubt how important they are to how a golf course functions. Adam's group has been very important to us. They make us one of the main supporters for what they do. And golf courses have to understand, turf research at MSU is important, but the future golf course superintendents come through that program. So anytime you're considering what the need of your golf club might be, training future superintendents is a key commodity. You can't put anything minimum on that. We appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. And as you all know, the Evans Scholars and the Michigan Turfgrass Foundation are the two organizations that the GAM has decided are worthy of consideration for your donations. We received one last year. We received one for as long as I can remember. And we want to thank you for that very much. I also want to not steal anybody's thunder, but I want to congratulate Al Batham. He's one of our Turfgrass members, and he's also one of our board members. Al's done a great job at Cascade. I want to say thank you to him. And I want to say thank you to the GAM for allowing us to have a few minutes today.
Thank you, Kerry. We appreciate all of that information and your involvement. There's the role of the Turfgrass Foundation is phenomenal in this state, and your fundraising on behalf of everybody in the game is appreciated by all. Thank you so much for your involvement today. Our next presenter, this is one of those last but not least. Without grass, there would be no game, and we're blessed in Michigan to have one of the finest turf programs in the entire country. And as Kerry noted, that the many superintendents in the state come out of Michigan State programs. So we're delighted to have us on our panel today, Dr. Kevin Frank, who's professor and turf extension specialist with the Michigan State University Department of Plant, Soil, and Microbial Science. So Dr. Frank, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, everyone. It's nice to, I guess, be here in virtual world like all of us are so used to doing at this point. But I just wanted to start out by just thanking the Golf Association of Michigan, of course, the MTF and the Michigan Golf Course Superintendents Association for all of their support in funding our programs over the years. And that continued in 2020, despite a lot of the challenges that we've already reflected upon. 2021 is really off to a great start, I think, for golf and for the turf aspect of it. Season got off to a rather quick start, despite what was a kind of cold and painful January and February for most of us that stayed in the state. And conditions are really roaring. We're probably about 2 weeks ahead of normal as far as where we are as far as growing conditions. And even though those of us that are hopefully going to get out to Forest Acres and play this afternoon, a little bit of rainfall is much needed right now throughout the state, as we've been in a deficit for moisture conditions since dating back to last fall. And so far, you probably haven't really seen too much of an effect on turf conditions on your golf courses. But as summer ramps up and the warmer temperatures arrive, if we don't get some much needed rainfall, we will start to see some effects of that as we go through the season on the turf grass. I'd like to kind of reiterate reinforce some of the comments that both Mark and Adam made regarding labor challenges and student challenges. We certainly still experience that here at MSU. We've done Dr. Rogers has done a great job of recruiting students, but any help that we can get from anybody in the industry, golfers, whoever it is, when you see a young person that might be interested in working in the profession, whatever aspect that is, encourage them. I know, as Adam had mentioned, many golf course superintendents are still looking for staff, still looking for summer help to accomplish their day-to-day tasks. And I visited with one just yesterday, and he was telling me about the number of college students that he's now hired for this year, and hopeful that will be a good experience for them. And you never know, some of those students might actually like it enough, perhaps they'd consider this as a career in the future. Our involvement with the Michigan Golf Alliance, of course, has been from a research standpoint. Last year, as I think Adam reflected on, trying to justify raking bunkers. Maybe it was something we never envisioned doing in our careers, but we came out with a document to help support the golf efforts in reopening in Michigan, just essentially justifying what we consider essential maintenance practices, because having to walk away from a golf course for what ended up being, I think, approximately a month last year, if we weren't able to do simple things like mowing and raking bunkers, was really going to set the entire golf course back. So thankfully, most of those essential maintenance practices were able to be carried out even when golf was shut down, so that the course would be ready when we did see that huge golf boom. And I think that will be something just for everybody to recognize as we go even through this year, is simply the demand on golf, the demand on the facilities from all levels, and the impact even on turf conditions from the increased play, which is a great problem to have, but it's just created a different set of circumstances, a different set of challenges. Even when we looked at like last year, when instead of two people on a golf cart, you had one person on a golf cart, and you look across the fairway, sometimes see 4 carts going up and down the fairways. It's a lot of increased traffic and wear and tear on the turf that we have to accommodate for over time. And I think you'll still see those adjustments being made this year. Finally, what I'd just like to say, research at the Hancock Turfgrass Research Center did continue in 2020, despite some of the setbacks and closures we had as far as campus, what we were allowed to do. Some of our research projects never missed a beat. I mean, we had some long-term projects, one of them that I've conducted for, this is going on year 23 now. I never missed a data collection point on that project. So we were able to justify our need to continue essential research, and we will be doing that again. We are able to do that in 2021. Now we have also allowed, just within the last 2 or 3 weeks, we can do extension visits again and travel within the state without violating any policies or anything. So if golf courses are looking for assistance, a lot of times we can do that just by email or phone, or but also of course those on-site visits can be very critical if there's looking for a second opinion or just some suggestions on things they might be struggling with. So don't hesitate to contact with those concerns, because we are allowed to do that now within MSU guidelines and COVID restrictions. And just want to conclude by once again thanking everybody for their support, and hope we all have just a fantastic 2021 golf season. Thank you.
Doctor, thank you so much. We appreciate your comments and being part of our day, and all of your support for all of the golf courses in the state. On behalf of those and our members, we thank you so much. Next on the agenda is a special time for us at our annual meeting, and that's the celebration of golf. In a way, we did part of that with our panels, and I saw a question, Chris, before I go on, popped up. Do we want to present that, or maybe not? So the next on our agenda is a chance to honor our champions this past year. And we have a number of presenters. As we go through them, I'll introduce them. They will present our various awards that are so important to this gathering every year. So first, I'd like to present Tom Anderson, who will be our first vice president this coming year, and is our chair of our championship committee. Tom will present our Player of the Year award. Tom, take it away.
Thank you, Mark. We had a great year last year, albeit some unusual circumstances with COVID and no rakes and bunkers and rain and carts, but we've got a great list of champions to go through. James Pyatt from Canton. He is a Michigan State University golfer. He was the stroke play co-medalist and runner-up at the Michigan Amateur, and we had some rather adverse weather there. He was also the GAM Championship third place finisher. James was a U.S. Amateur round of 32 player and he finished second in stroke play. Got a little slideshow here. James Pyatt. Our Women's Player of the Year, Anna Kramer of Spring Lake. Anna won last year at Forest Acres, and she's been trying, had a couple of championships at Spring Lake and didn't, but she finally made it. She was the women's amateur champion and the stroke play medalist. Anna is a university golfer at Indianapolis University. Anna Kramer was the Women's Player of the Year last year. The Senior Men's Player of the Year, Mr. Steve Madalena from Jackson. Steve was the Michigan Senior Open champion. He was the GAM Senior Match Play semifinalist and the GAM Senior Championship tied for third. Mr. Madalena is a longtime contestant for us, and we look forward to seeing him again this year. The Senior Women's Player of the Year, Julie Massa, is, I don't know what you can say about Julie. She's a GAM Women's Senior Champion. She's the GAM Women's 4-ball champion with Stacy Slobodnik-Stoll, and she advanced to match play at the Michigan Women's Amateur last year. Julie Massa. Our Super Senior Player of the Year from Orchard Lake is Rick Herpick. Great guy, really supports golf, drags some younger ones into play. Rick was the GAM Super Senior Champion. He was the GAM Senior Match Play Super Senior Division quarterfinalist and the GAM Senior Championship Super Senior Division Champion, Mr. Rick Herpick. The GAM Boys Player of the Year, PJ Maybank of Sheboygan. GAM Junior Kickoff Champion, and we had 154 players on a single tee for 2 days of golf. That was some long days. He's also a Michigan Junior State Amateur Stroke Play medalist and champion, and the GAM Junior Invitational Champion. PJ Maybank. Ariel Chang was the Girls Player of the Year. Ariel was our GAM Junior Kickoff Champion at Washtenaw and the Girls Junior State Champion, Stroke Play medalist and champion at Forest Acres. And we had a wonderful rain delay on Friday and carried play over to Saturday for this young lady for the finals. Ariel Chang. In the 15 and under division for the boys, Will Preston of Grand Rapids. Will was the GAM Junior Kickoff 15 and under runner-up. He was the Michigan Junior State Amateur 15 and under stroke play medalist and a GAM Junior Invitational 15 and under champion, Mr. Will Preston. And in the girls 15 and under Player of the Year, Lauren Timpf. Lauren was the GAM Junior Stroke Play champion. She was a GAM Junior Kickoff 15 and under champion. She was the Michigan Girls Junior State Amateur 15 and under champion and played in the Women's Amateur. Miss Lauren Timpf. It's a great list of champions for last year, and we look forward to seeing them all again this year.
Thank you, Tom. It's sad this time of year with Zoom meetings not to be able to present these awards in person to these great players and with a round of applause. But we hope they all appreciate our appreciation for their involvement with GAM and all of our tournaments. So, and we our tournament board is filling up, as I understand it, Tom, with as far as participation. So
yeah,
but
it looks like we're
going to have a very, very robust tournament season. So thank you to all the players. Congratulations on your awards, and we hope at some time in the future to be able to give you a round of applause from everybody. Our next presenter will be Jay Holt, who next year will serve as our second vice president of GAM. Jay is committee chair for our Greens Committee, and he's here to present the GAM Superintendent of Merit Award.
Thank you, Mark. And on behalf of the Green Committee, I want to start by thanking everybody on the call for all you do for golf in the state of Michigan. You're very generous with your time, and we all appreciate that. Under the leadership of David Boffman, the Green Committee created the Superintendent's Award of Merit. The award is intended to honor a superintendent, excuse me, who has demonstrated leadership, professionalism, good character, and high standards of conduct through pursuits associated with the golf course grounds, maintenance, and care. Through the years, two of the common characteristics of the award recipient have been the ability to develop their subordinates into future leaders and their generosity in giving their time to support their association and the turf industry. This year's recipient checks all the boxes, and so I am going to invite Mr. John Barber, a past president of the GAM, to introduce this year's award recipient, Mr. Al Batham of Cascade Hills.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning, everyone. Trust you can hear me.
Yep.
For almost 30 years, Cascade Hills Country Club in Grand Rapids has been blessed with a superintendent that comes to work every day with a great attitude, an even temperament, and no ego whatsoever. No easy job. Superintendents have to satisfy persnickety members, as well as general managers and boards of directors that can change every year. They must constantly communicate to their staff, club professionals, members or customers, and club management, often making very complex topics sound and look easy. To this day, a successful superintendent has to be half artist and half scientist. All the while, the truly best ones look out for and develop their assistants. They also find time to give back to their association, to the state university, and to the turf industry in general. So Al, my friend, since you have checked all the boxes, it is my pleasure to recognize you on behalf of the GAM, the Turfgrass Foundation, the Golf Course Superintendents Association, as well as the turf team at Michigan State University, as having truly earned the 2021 Superintendent's Award of Merit. We at Cascade Hills are very proud of you and very appreciative of all your hard work through the years. And finally, perhaps the best compliment anyone could pay you is that your son, Cam Batham, is following in your footsteps into Turfgrass, no doubt because of the great example you have set for the past 30 years. That concludes my comments. Thank you, Al.
Thank you, John. And thank you. Congratulations, Al.
Thank you both Jay and John, and congratulations, Al. Well deserved. And we look forward to seeing you at a future meeting one day. To personally congratulate you on your award this year. Our next presentation is for Raters of the Year. Our golf course rating group is an important part of the GAM services for not just the golf courses, but also for the USGA. And they work very, very hard each year. And there's always some standout performances that we want to honor. And this year is no different. So I'd like to introduce Lori Puskas, our chair of our golf course rating committee, to make those awards.
Good morning, thank you. It's really an honor to be here and to recognize and celebrate our Rookie of the Year and our Rater of the Year. We really appreciate everything that our raters do throughout the year. They're very devoted and very conscientious. course, this last year, we had to change to our the way that we rate. We had new books. We had COVID. We had a lot going on, and our raters really stepped up, and they were awesome. For our Rater of Year, for 2020 is Greg Frontier, and Greg is just an amazing person. He's been rating for over 9 years. He's always available whenever you need anything. He's there for every type of course, from the very finest to the not so fine. He will do any tee. He'll do the championship tees to the forward tees. He'll rate for men. He'll rate for women. He just, and always with a smile. He is so helpful when we have trainees out on a rate, answering their questions and just making them feel comfortable. And like I said, he's just always there, and a terrific rater. So thank you, and congratulations to Greg Frontier for the GAM 2020 Rater of the Year. Next, our Rookie of the Year. It's always such a pleasure to meet the new people who are coming out and want to learn golf course rating and measuring. Hunter Co. is from Freeland, Michigan, a grad of Saginaw Valley State University. And this past summer, rated and measured throughout the state. He was involved throughout the area. He was eager to learn and was a quick study, and proud to recognize and celebrate Hunter Co. as the 2020 Rookie, Rater of the Year. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori. We appreciate your time today, and congratulations to Greg and Hunter. We know how hard you worked this past year, and we appreciate all of your efforts on our behalf. Our next award is a special one. Each year, the James D. Standish Jr. Award is presented to the Evans Scholars, the outstanding Evans Scholars each year at Michigan State University and the University of Michigan. And we're delighted today that the grandson of the founder, James Standish Jr., could be here to help present the award. Mr. Standish was not only a championship golfer in the state, he won 4 Michigan Amateur Champions, but he was also deeply involved with GAM, as has been the entire Standish family. We have a special relationship with them, and we are deeply honored each year to be able to present these awards as part of our annual meeting. So I'd like to present Clark Standish with the Western Golf Association on behalf of the Standish Foundation and his family.
Thank you, Mark. In 1968, the Executive Committee of the Golf Association of Michigan established the James D. Standish Jr. Award. The award is given each year to the outstanding upperclassmen at the University of Michigan and Michigan State University, and is based on both scholarship and leadership in chapter affairs. A large permanent plaque with the names of each year's winners engraved thereon is displayed in the lounge of each scholarship house. Each of the winners is presented with a properly inscribed replica of the permanent plaque. 2021 winner of the James D. Standish Jr. Award from the University of Michigan is Noah Zatar from Knollwood Country Club. Noah Zatar, a mechanical engineering major at University of Michigan with an impressive 3.7 GPA, has an outstanding academic and leadership record as an Evans Scholar. During his time at U of M, Noah was elected to 2 positions on the Michigan Evans Scholars Executive Board, as Administrative Vice President in 2019 and Chapter President in 2020. Noah has also been selected to serve as the Graduate resident advisor at the Michigan Evans Scholars House next year. Noah will graduate in May and begin his master's degree studies in industrial and operations engineering at U of M in the fall. I'm happy to present you, Noah, with this James T. Standish Jr. Award. Congratulations. The winner from Michigan State University is Garrett Cervello from Birmingham Country Club. Garrett Cervello, a hospitality business major at Michigan State University with an impressive 3.3 GPA, has an outstanding academic and leadership record as an Evans Scholar. Garrett was elected president of the MSU Evans Scholars Chapter for 2 consecutive years in 2019 and 2020. Garrett has also been selected to serve as the resident advisor at the MSU Evans Scholars House next year. Garrett will graduate in December and plans to pursue a career in the hospitality field. I am happy to present you, Garrett, with this James T. Standish Jr. Award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Clark, and congratulations to Noah and Garrett. Well-deserved awards and for an amazing organization. So thank you so much for these. And again, we hope to meet you someday in person with a round of applause on your well-deserved award. And Clark, thank you for being part of our day today. We do appreciate everything you and the family do for golf in Michigan. Thank you so much. Our final awards will be presented by Janita Jacob, our GAM Member Relations Committee Chair. And Janita will present both our Club Services Award as well as our important GAM Distinguished Service Award.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Thank you. First of all, I really want to extend some kudos to the GAM staff, to Chris and to Mary Jo and to Laura, who have been very instrumental in helping this to go forward and get this work done, considering the tough times that COVID has presented. So thank you, and thanks to all the staff and all of you governors who have done such a wonderful, wonderful time during such very, very strenuous circumstances. It is my pleasure. It's my 3rd year as the member chair, and the 2nd time that I have been presenting these awards. And I have to say that it is such a pleasure to be able to call the winning recipients to let them know. And it's very interesting that every time I call one of them to announce their award, the first thing they say is, why are you giving it to me? There are so many other more deserving people. And that just seems to run rampant throughout our association. Everybody thinks everyone else deserves it more so than they do, but I'm always happy to do that. And like last year, because of COVID, we do like to present these awards in person, but of course we have to make do. So what I have done with each recipient is to ask them an appropriate time and place where we can actually present the award. And I will talk about that in just a second. But for right now, what I would like to do is extend our congratulations for the Club Services Representative of the Year Award to Jason Eiting, who is at Western Golf and Country Club. And since he and his board have told me that they will figure out an appropriate time and place to present the award in person, what I will do is read what is on the plaque so that you can be privy to it. And what it says here is the Golf Association of Michigan Club Services Representative of the Year is presented to Jason Eiting, Western Golf and Country Club, in appreciation of your dedication to the game of golf and your tireless support of the Golf Association of Michigan 2020. So we extend our great appreciation and thanks and congratulations to Jason Eiting, and we'll present that award when he informs us of when they would like to do that at Western Golf and Country Club. And next, and certainly not not the least of which is our Distinguished Service Award. We have a gentleman who all of you have known a very, very long time and who has done so much for the Golf Association of Michigan. And again, he was very, very humbled to receive this award. In fact, when we talked, he said, you know, Janina, I really don't want a whole lot of fuss and muss made over this. You know, just I'll come to the office and we'll just present the award. I don't want anyone to go out of their way. Well, we, of course, want to honor our honorees' wishes, but what we are going to do, and I think this is still on for today, Chris, and let me know if it is, but Steve had mentioned that he was planning to be at the golf course today, and hopefully the rain hasn't destroyed this, but just to receive the award, maybe a pray golf and in a nice lounge setting where a few people are around so that he can receive his award. So, and with that in mind, I would like to honor and present this award, the Distinguished Service Award, which is basically a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I will read you the plaque and what it is going to be, what it is inscribed with. Distinguished Service Award presented to Steve Braun. The Golf Association of Michigan is truly indebted to you for your long and dedicated service and astute leadership. A stalwart governor, chair of several committees, longtime tournament volunteer and official, your commitment to the organization culminated in serving as president, lending a steady hand and energetic voice to its efforts. Moreover, from your early days with the Flint Junior Golf Association to the more recent Youth on Course initiative, your eyes have remained focused on the future of the game. The Golf Association of Michigan commends your exemplary efforts, vision, and declaration. Golf in Michigan is in a better place because of you. 2020. So with that, I want to congratulate Steve and thank him for his dedicated service and appreciate the nomination of Steve and also of Jason Eiting, and know that we truly, truly appreciate all that you have done in every aspect of your service to the Golf Association of Michigan. So congratulations.
Thank you, Janina. I appreciate your being here today for those awards, and congratulations to Jason and Steve, both well-deserved. And Steve, I'm absolutely delighted. I look forward to sharing a toast with you one of these days in Northern Michigan. So, thank you so much. That wraps up our awards today. Chris, do we have any questions or any items that we need to take care of before we move on to closing comments and the adjournment of the meeting?
We're all set, Mark. Thank you very much.
Okay. It's my great pleasure to introduce everyone to the next president of the Golf Association of Michigan, Mark Baltimore. Let me tell you a little bit about Mark. He's probably most proud of being a father to 2 children, grandfather to 7, and husband to his high school sweetheart of 52 years. He brings a long list of business and GAM specific experience to his new role as president. 40 years of marketing and sales experience. Mark is now retired, but probably will always be a salesman all the way to his toes, I suspect. He started his involvement with GAM in 1998, 22 years ago, as a course rater. Since that time, he's racked up 675 ratings in 76 of the 83 counties in Michigan. And I'm still looking for a list of those 7 counties that he's missed so we can get them there somehow. Mark has been the Western Michigan course rating captain since 2008 a GAM governor, chair of the course rating committee, and served on the handicap committee since 2013. He's been active in the foundation and youth on course. He's chair of a new August 9th golf outing fundraiser that you've already heard about, and I hope he tells you a little bit more about. And that'll be for the foundation at Indian Trails this summer. For the past 3 years, Mark has participated on the officer team with experience on the executive committee, the long range planning committee, and as vice president. He's truly ready to serve as the next president of GAM. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to pass the baton to Mark Bolton.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate those words and comments. Specifically, you bring up salesmanship. Well, many, many years ago, Professor Lindskog in a salesmanship class gave the following information to us students, and that is to be bold, to be brief, and be gone. So I've established my career around that, and this morning I'm going to hold to it. It has been great coming along in the officer corps here at the GAM. I want to thank especially my two previous presidents who I've studied under, Chris Angot and of course you, Mark McAlpine. I've learned a lot, and I thank you both for offering insights in the future. I've got both of your phone numbers, and I'm looking forward to using them. The new year going forward, I'm especially happy to think that I'll be able to dismount the roller coaster of the past 2 years with the issues with the pandemic in the state of Michigan, especially golf in the state of Michigan, and get back to a more regular time of golf and enjoy its growth and opportunities. We're going to look forward to opportunities to serve public golf facilities in a far better and greater way. Opportunities to help manage handicapping at league opportunities with league golfers throughout the state, as well as better opportunities on outings that our public facilities encourage and manage. And the second way we're looking forward to that is, of course, through the youth on course activities, a very important way, not just to look forward to next month, next year, next quarter, but certainly the next decades of golf in Michigan. I thank you for this opportunity, looking forward to serving, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark, and good luck over this next year. It's been a great pleasure to get to know you, and I know this will be an outstanding year for you and everybody, the staff and everybody involved with GAM. So unless there's additional items or questions, I want to thank everyone for their involvement today. I want to wish those that are playing golf this afternoon good weather, and hopefully it clears up downstate. And I look forward to continuing my role as a volunteer with GAM for many years. And thank you for allowing me to be part of the organization, and certainly in the role as president. And Chris, unless there's anything else, we can move the meeting to adjournment.
All clear at headquarters, Mark. Thank you so much. Great job.
All right. Thank you all. Enjoy the day.